For me, the beauty of discovering Montaigne from outside the university or school or any of the usual ways that you discover a writer like that is that it felt like an immediate contact with someone who spoke to me as just another person, another human being, and that I think is where the appeal of Montaigne should lie, because he is so human, so ordinary, so he talks of himself as ordinary. He's sociable, he's friendly, he wants to communicate. But it's difficult to come across that if you read him because you have to or because he's very respected. So there's a certain advantage for me in the fact that I came across him purely by surprise. I wanted to play on that idea of a self-help book of how to live, because I think it's something we all seek. We want to understand our lives better, and Montaigne himself was trying to understand better how he lived his own life. But it is a kind of game of words, because in the end there are no rules, there's no instructions, there's certainly no answers, and he would never have tried to convince us that there was a set of 20 answers that would change your life. So I kind of wanted to make fun of that self-help genre, but also, in fact, there is a serious desire in Renaissance philosophy, as well as in our own day, to make philosophy a practical thing, something that you experience in your life, and it makes you think about your life from different angles and look for better ways of understanding what you do. One of the things I really like with Montaigne is that he doesn't just talk about how you should live at all. He doesn't really talk about that, or even how he wants to live. He often just observes himself living, and he talks, when he says comment vivre, it means more like, how am I living? What am I doing? What have I done in the past? And what am I doing now? And so there's a curiosity as well as a desire to improve. I think today we have this feeling that perhaps we're too self-obsessed, that we write about ourselves or talk about ourselves too much, or we're always on social networks saying where we had our holidays or what we've eaten for dinner, and that's too much. And I don't think it is too much, but I think what Montaigne, who did that sort of thing as well, he reminds us that it's not how much you talk about yourself, it's the quality with which you talk about yourself, it's how much you reflect on what you're saying and try to make something of it that will mean something to other people, because in the end it's not just about looking inward, it's looking inward, which he does, but then also communicating and sharing your experience of human life with other human beings. And he looked into himself, but he also never lost his curiosity about how other people lived and how other cultures lived, and how even other species. He was curious about what the world might look like to a cat or a dog. And so the two, you have to have both. I think you can't just indulge your looking at your own navel. I don't know if you have the same phrase. You can't just indulge this obsession with yourself and leave it at that. It's what's fascinating is the combination of trying to understand yourself and trying to understand others and being curious about others. I would say read Montaigne, because every time you open the book you find something different in it. It's one of those rich books that contains, it seems very often, the whole of human life. And so you might find something that will calm you down, as Flaubert said, you should read Montaigne to calm you down. You might find something that will excite you and upset you and disturb you and make you look at life differently, or you may find something that will just amuse you and entertain you, or you might find something that makes you feel a little bit wiser.